this is where we've all heard, if we watch Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, I think I can give him the trademark on this expression, but he'll call them a wantrepreneur.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a wantrepreneur. I want to bring a product to market. I have this great idea. An entrepreneur is the person who's willing to have the sleepless nights, get it to market, realize it, but then also, realize the dream. Like the reward at the end of it is phenomenal.
Right.
It is stressful, but it's also phenomenal. We help people with ideas, get them to revenue. Welcome to episode 2. I'm Peter Drakulich. This is Dan Gagne, and this is the 52 Launch Podcast. And it is designed to help anybody, not just our clients, but anybody out there that is an entrepreneur, an inventor, or someone who's looking to start a business from scratch. This is what 52 Launch does. We're the execution team for people that hire us to actually get their ideas to revenue. But the topic of today is, when should somebody take their idea to market, right? We got asked on a podcast just recently, it wasn't ours, shout out to Best of Boston. Mark does a great job. And, he asked us what the advice would be. Should someone take an idea to market? And what was our hands down answer?
Absolutely.
Just do it.
Yep.
First of all, I don't want to make it sound like it's
you don't have to do it with us either. Just do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Getting an idea to market it's a freedom, right? Like at the end of the day, you've got a job, and we're not saying quit your day job, but we're saying that if you've got an idea that you think makes someone smile, life easier, makes someone go wow, or makes someone go, why didn't anybody think of that? Well, first of all, you should call us, because then we'll tell you what to do, but you should do it. Now, even when you have all that confidence, how many times have we had great ideas, all the acumen, even the funding's there, and what stops people? We talked about in our last podcast, it's confidence. They just don't have, many people are looking for validation, and not just a single validation. They have to hear it, constantly to feel comfortable, and more importantly, confident that they take this big step, because it is a big step. I mean, it is, can be life-changing. So whenever anything is life-changing, it is a big step. And so let's talk about the clients. And again, you got to remember, everyone out there that doesn't know us, Dan and I decided 7 years ago to start a startup for startups.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. It doesn't get any lower than that. Let me define that. We said we're going to start a company with no money as a startup, for people with no money starting up their businesses. Right. So,
but we had a lot of luck on our side.
Did we?
I guess. We're still here.
I think it's tenacity more than anything. And I think that's a character trait that you absolutely need to have.
Right.
But you know what the amazing thing, and again, this is where I'll take credit, because you always give it to me. This wouldn't be successful if I didn't come from the car business, right? Especially in a volume store car business, where everyone told me that they wanted this car, but didn't want to pay more than this, right? And I had to, at that point, I have two choices. I believe them and I send them home, or I just choose not to believe them and wait till I show them what they are actually looking to get. And then they have to make the choice whether they're going to go home or purchase the vehicle, right? And I'm not saying that they were lying. I think they just had the intention or the expectation. Once they understood the expectation and the value met, that's when all of a sudden they went out and figured out to go and get it done. And I think that's actually the amazing part, is that I think a lot of our clients who we didn't think have the funding or don't have the money, and we know that they're they seem to jump in faster.
I 100% agree with that. I'm astonished at the people that end up hiring us that really don't have the money to do so. But what do they have? They have the confidence. They have the confidence to do it, because they truly believe in their product or their idea, and we have convinced them that we're the right team to bring that to market.
We've proven to them too, not just convinced them.
Well, when I say convinced, we have to do that first, and then the proof's in the pudding, and they can call references and see. You walk into our facility and you'll see hundreds of items that we brought to market. So, that's always the thing that baffles me the most, is that we have so many people out there that have the right funding, terrific idea, but
they don't pull the trigger.
And we have,
people that don't have money. And I'll say this, just because, again, I want to be clear. it's not because people don't think they have like, oh, I got nothing to lose, I'm just going to do this. No, they have actually more to lose, and their confidence. This is where we, again, when we started, we were extremely careful because, when someone's putting it all on the line, success isn't always guaranteed, but in our camp, failure can't be an option when that's the case, right? So everything that needs to be done in order to get to market needs to get done. And whatever that budget is, it needs to be respected and understood. And, we've had to redesign some, not contracts, but redesign some, the minimum quantity order was 5,000 pieces, and all of a sudden we only had enough money for one. We've negotiated with everybody to make sure that everybody has, to me, the three vitals to launching a product is that it has to solve a problem. It has to be well made with margin, meaning that it looks good, but it's also inexpensive to make, that you've got profit margin. And
good market. It's got to have a good solid market.
It's got to have a solid market, right? Somewhere where someone goes, wow, how come no one thought of that sooner? Or that's the perfect item that I'm missing in my life for whatever reason. Right. That's it. That's the three elements that we have really honed in on in the last 3 years. But so let's talk about people that do have the financial ability to do this. I get it. I've got 3 kids going through college. You've got kids going through college. At what point, I guess they say the complacency and comfort is where nothing happens. Yeah.
So I have my own theory on why these folks that we believe when we meet with them, we're like, what a great idea, but there's no way they're going to be able to, sign on with us. I mean, it's going to be impossible. What they do is they go back, and obviously they're pumped about hearing that they've got a great idea, number one, and that they've got the team to execute on it. But when you say they've got nothing to lose, well, they go talk to their friends and family, and they tell them that they found somebody that believes in them. They found somebody that can actually execute on the plan. And we generally have another conversation with that person's network. And at that point, now we're talking about a team bringing a product to market, or a couple, 3 people bringing it to market, sharing that whatever risk there may be.
Mitigating the fear.
Exactly.
Adding 3 times the amount of confidence, right? So you're right. And look, that's a very good point, because all the clients that hire us that we know are not financially that financially, not, I don't want to use the word struggle, but they're limited in means. They're the ones who actually pull together,
right?
Like they've found those connections, and that's actually a good point. The clients who are couples or that are families and they have the money, and I don't mean that lightly. So I just I don't want to come across, they have the means and they have the ability, But what they're not willing to do is give up a partnership. They're not willing to, so they're stuck on that fence.
Right.
They stay in the Wantrepreneur zone because they want it all, but they're not quite ready to hop in. And
right.
And again, look, we say this because I'm actually curious. I'd love, this is a back and forth. If you're in that, please leave comments, reach out to us. I'm curious, because at the end of the day, again, our belief is everyone has $1 million idea. And it's all in the execution and getting there, and getting the entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs to become entrepreneurs has kind of become our goal. Because again, with Amazon, with Facebook, with 3D printing, with all the technology, today I walked by, and Alec, the 2 interns, Alec and Nate, are working on a project, and they 3D printed it, and I see Alec, putting it together, and it's delicate. And I stopped and I just admired it for a second because it looks awesome. It's off a 3D print. And I just said, my God. And I even said to Alex and Nate, I said, can you imagine doing this 10 years ago? You guys are going to college with this when there was no 3D printers. Right. How would you guys make that? Think about how advanced things have just come in the last 10 years in developing products to get to market. We haven't even started the manufacturing. Right. We've gone through the design process. We've gone through the iteration process, and boom, there is a product sitting in their hand right now that they've been able to put together with a 3D printer that really can be judged now, and it can be assessed, and if adjustments need to be done, it can be done now versus afterwards.
I'm chuckling inside because we had a call last week where we had a gentleman who extremely well off could bring 100 products to market if he felt like it. He wanted to go the route of just selling 3D printed products.
Yeah. With the food products. So you can't do that.
So yeah, I'm just chuckling over the fact that yes, we have gotten to a point where we can print products right off of a 3D printer. Now, we don't recommend selling those because they're obviously not going to be durable, right. Or food safe for that matter.
And it's not product. It's,
right.
You're 3D printing something. It's a good way to get a test market. It's a good way to go out and give it to friends and family.
But again, there's
build your confidence that you should bring this to market.
But right? that again is a posturing effort there. This person's got all the means, got a great idea, but for whatever reason, can't pull the trigger on bringing this fantastic product to market.
Well, and so this is where we've all heard, if we watch Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, I think I can give him the trademark on this expression, but he'll call them a wantrepreneur.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a wantrepreneur. I want to bring a product to market. I have this great idea. An entrepreneur is the person who's willing to have the sleepless nights, get it to market, realize it, but then also, realize the dream. Like the reward at the end of it is phenomenal.
Right.
It is stressful, but it's also phenomenal. Then there was a term that someone threw out to me probably back in December that I'd never heard, but it was the word is intrapreneur. Intrapreneur. So it's people that internalize as entrepreneurs but aren't. And I'm a little baffled by that term, right? Because now I get it. And the example was, all right, so everyone that works for us is intrapreneurial, meaning they can help entrepreneurs with their skills internally to get them to market, but aren't entrepreneurs themselves. Well, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I even understand that.
Yeah. So, so the point of that conversation is if you have thoughts of becoming, or if you have thoughts of having, and you've got a good product idea, the kiss of death and the biggest waste of time is being in the intrapreneur and wantrepreneur space. Because what you're going to do is you're going to carry around that idea for a decade or two. And one day what's going to happen?
Well, I tell you, that was a perfect segue to what I was going to interrupt you with. I don't know how many podcasts ago we talked about this, but we had our first product that was duplicated. Like we had someone call in
within hours.
That we were actually working on a product. Someone called us and had that same idea, and we're like, wow, that's not happened in thousands and thousands of calls that we've had. Right. Well, it's happening almost on a weekly basis now. So because we've now gone into almost four markets, we're in 3, ready to go into 4 next month. We're definitely getting the same idea coming to us on a regular basis. So it's fun because now it's the one who commits first gets. Yeah.
Yeah. So look at that. That's the gist of this. Is that if you have an idea, our recommendation is just do it. Going through the feasibility study, going through the prototyping, going through a design. I can get parts of that to make sure that you're bringing the right product to market, but putting that expense into that first part without actually understanding that I am committed to making the pivots to actually bring this to the full finish line. That is where I've seen a lot of people spend a lot of money, and it's amazing. Some of them actually hired us, and look at most of them can't because they're just tapped out. Right. And that's where, those are to me the 2 most dangerous areas, being an intrapreneur or an wantrepreneur. So if you've got an idea, do it, but make sure that you're not one of the 2 that I just mentioned. Become the entrepreneur.
Right. You can also reach out to us.
Yeah, no, look at it. Be happy to assess it. I mean, if it's a bad idea, we'll be the first ones to tell you. We've had 7,000 conversations roughly, at least, in the years that we've been doing
this. By the end of the year, it'll be over 15,000.
Yeah, with all the markets that we just opened up. Yeah. So we definitely know what bad ideas look like. And that's actually the most important part, is you got to make sure that the idea actually has got the market, like I said at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep. We appreciate you listening to this podcast.
Yeah, please
follow
us, share us.
Like us, share us.
Share us. That's really the important thing. Share us with people that that are in the entrepreneurial space, or that someone has an idea. I mean, we just talked to somebody today that said, I was too embarrassed to even talk to my own family about this first. Right. If you're embarrassed, don't be.
Like one of the best ideas we've heard this year.
Very solid idea. Make sure, yes, anybody that's not an entrepreneur might call you crazy, but if you find the right entrepreneur support group, your idea is not crazy. It needs to be put to market. You just got to find the right team to do it.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.